So we're gonna go ahead and get started because it's a Monday evening for Evelyn, but getting into nighttime for us over here on the East Coast. So that way we can get right into it. You can learn how to use these, and we'll let you go about the rest of your evening. So I know Linda knows me, but Evelyn, I'm Stephanie. I am the president of the Ukulele Kids Club. I'm also a full-time pediatric music therapist here at Holtz Children's Hospital down here in Miami, Florida. So what we're going to be going over tonight is how to utilize the Chordette and FretTab apps. So a little bit of a background on this. It was a couple years ago now at this point. I had been doing a couple different continuing education courses, a couple different presentations and teaching master classes on utilizing the ukulele in the clinical setting. And I had been creating a lot of different ukulele resources because there really wasn't a lot out there, especially for beginner ukulele. A lot of times when I was looking up, trying to find beginner ukulele resources, it was either for like really little kids or older adults. And that really there was nothing in there for in between, for my school age, my teenagers, my young adults, as well as I noticed that a lot of kind of, beginner ukulele different methods books were trying to introduce, 2-finger and 3-finger chords really early. And especially working in the pediatric setting, that wasn't possible for a lot of my kids. They just didn't have the dexterity, whether it was because they were really, weak, or if they were younger, they really weren't able to let these next people in. Hello, welcome everyone. They really weren't able to utilize 3 fingers or even 2 fingers sometimes. So I started creating all of these resources geared toward really for music therapists, but also beginning music educators to work with children and people with limited dexterity and mobility. And I was kind of, people were emailing me and asking me for resources, and I'm a huge advocate of like share the wealth. It makes no sense for us, those of us who have limited time, to be spending all of this time creating resources over and over and over again. So I was like, yes, take it all. I will send you whatever you want. And I was sending things out over and over and over again. And I was like, we just need one place where we can just store all of this for all of the therapists we work with, all of the ukulele educators we work with, all of the children that we work with. So we created the resource portal. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can follow right along with me. If you have not checked it out yet, hopefully, I don't know if you guys had already gone on and downloaded the Chordette and FretTab programs. I sent them out this morning. If not, we're going to go over how to do that right now. If you're not on a computer, then you can go back and do them later on and just kind of watch and follow along. So we created this resource portal, which is right on the UKC's website. Let me go ahead and also drop it in the chat. Just www.theukc.org, as well as up here on the resource portal tab. So here's the resource portal. And then you're going to click UKC at home. And this is the part of the Ukulele Kids Club that is all for at-home things. So you can go ahead, fill in your name, your email, click on that you are interested in the Chordette and FretTab apps. And then if you are a therapist, a family kid, member supporter, or none of the above, and then you can go ahead and it'll get emailed to you as a download. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and do that now. So as I was creating these resources, you can find ukulele chord diagrams pretty easily, but ukulele tablature really doesn't exist a whole lot. So I was creating this ukulele tablature in Microsoft Word with like dashes and numbers, and it was off. I mean, it didn't look pretty, but it was useful. It worked. But then you have to line them all up, and it was really difficult and time consuming. And then of course, when we got the color coded strings, on the ukuleles, I was color coding them just again in Microsoft Word using the fonts. Those of you guys who haven't seen it, we have the color coded strings from Aquila strings that make life 10 times easier, not only for kids, but for adults too. They're absolutely wonderful. So if you haven't ever used them, highly, highly recommend. And so this wonderful man named John Baxter contacted us and said, hey, I'm part of, I own ukefarm.com and Ukefarm magazine, and I have these computer programs to create ukulele tablature and chordette and chord charts. Would you be interested in using something like this? And it was right around this time that I was like driving myself crazy because I was creating all this tablature in Microsoft Word. And so he sent me a sample of it, and this was right around the time that I was getting ready to teach my very first continuing education 3-hour course on utilizing the ukulele. And I said, would I be able to offer this program at a discount to people who are taking the class or to our music therapists? And he said, I believe in what you guys are doing. I'm a huge supporter of music therapy and the organization, that I'm just going to make you guys your own. And that way you can have it to send out to anyone that you work with or who's affiliated with the Ukulele Kids Club. So that is how our Chordette and FretTab apps came to be, and how we have them available to us free of charge. And they're just wonderful, wonderful resources. So hopefully you have them on your computer. If not, again, you can come back and watch this later and follow along. So you are going to go into whatever email address you put them in with. I believe that I had put it in my personal email earlier. You're going to see all my thousands of emails pop up. Where did it go? Here we go. So this is the email that you'll get. You're going to go down to download the Chordette and the FretTab apps. And then depending on whether you're on a Mac or a PC, you'll open up whichever file whatever folder that you're working on. For right now, for Windows, it is only in black and white. It's not in the colored. It's something to do with the coding that I don't speak code, so I have no idea how that all works, but something with the coding. Mac, you can either do black and white or the colored. If you are on the Mac, just make sure that you open the 64-bit. Again, something with the coding language I don't understand and I don't speak, so I just nod and say, yes, okay, I will let people know. There is a README file on here. So that tells you kind of all of some of those things that I don't understand. But if you open that up, you can then download it and you'll get the folder. So I do have them already on my computer because I use them pretty much every day. So one of the things when it comes up, and let me pull up the file I had sent out to you guys this morning. It's on my other computers, and I pull it up real quick, because that gives a really good detailed walkthrough, because it can get, if you don't download the fonts correctly, it may not copy over. So that's why it's important to follow the directions. He created these directions, very clear, very lovely for us. So if you just follow the PDF and follow the directions, you will not have any problems whatsoever. So the biggest thing is that this is a font interface. So they're called apps, but they're not apps in the traditional sense that we see on our phone or our tablets. They're computer programs. They're a font interface. So what we need to do is you need to make sure that you're extracting them and copying them over to your font folder on your computer. This is important because if we don't copy the fonts into the font library, all you are going to see are the letters and the numbers popping up. So very important. Once you have, and this will pop up, so it says copy each font into the fonts folder in your library. You drag this to your applications folder and README. And this is the PDF that we're looking at right now. Again, walks you through step by step and tells you all of the lovely things. Okay, so what are these resources and how do we use them? So like I said, these are basically a font interface. So whereas we can type, hello, in whatever font that is, if we change the font, we can copy this and paste it. Copy, paste, and it works that way. So depending on what you're creating, let's say that we're creating a chord chart for a song. So let's say we're going to do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. That's nice and easy, right? So we can put in the Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. How I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. And then Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are. So we have that. Now, and a lot of times you'll see that, you can just put in if we're doing it in the key of C, people might just put the letters in there, and that's fine. But for some people may need some extra cues. So sometimes just seeing the C, that's not going to remind them, okay, that this is my C right here, and that's where I put my finger. Some people need more of a visual reminder, and that's where these chord charts are really, really great, because we can mix and match using the Chordette, which is the chords, right? Chord structures right here, the regular font, so the regular words that you see, as well as, of course, the frets or the tabs, which we'll get into in a few minutes. So let's say that I want to do, so usually when I do my chord charts, I like to put the chords right underneath on top so we can see what they are. So what you can do is you can either go and you can copy and then paste, or it does give you the keystroke right here. So this is a capital C. So if I just type a capital C, my major C chord will come up. And what's really fun is that our A, B, C, D, E, F, G, a capital A is an A major, capital B, capital C, capital D, E, F, and G are all those major chords. So really quick keystrokes. Minor chords are lowercase of all of those letters. So a lowercase a makes an A minor, lowercase b, c, d, e, f, and g. So once you kind of get used to how this works, you can make them very, very quickly. There is a little bit of a learning curve. I kind of tune it to, if you've ever used Sibelius or Noteworthy, it takes kind of a little while to kind of get used to going back and forth between the note and what's happening on your screen. But once you kind of remember some of the keystrokes, it's pretty easy to navigate. And then of course, you're going to have your B flat, your C sharp, and of course those are going to be other characters, but you can either click on them and see what they are, and then just type, like here is a capital X, or again, you can just copy paste. So we have all of our regular major chords. We have our sevenths. We have all of our minor chords, our minor sevenths, our major sevenths, our diminished sevenths, and our augmented. And now there's also the standard alternate, is all of those chords again, but alternate finger patterns. So depending on what you're looking for, all of those are here as well. And then we also have just individual notes that you can put in. So if you're just putting individual notes, you can do that as well. And then we have advanced chords. So these are chords that, like sixth chords, minor sixths, flat 7 flat 5, fourth suspensions, and then of course seventh suspensions as well. So we have a lot of chords here that we can work with. Of course, not every single chord is in here because that would be impossible, but we have a lot of chords in here. So I haven't really run into one yet that I haven't been able to find, especially if I'm modifying the chord charts for any of my patients. And now, if these are a little bit too confusing for the people that you're working with, because sometimes seeing a regular chord chart can be slightly confusing, trying to translate what this looks like onto what this looks like physically. So then we also have the option of using this 3D fretboard. So this physically shows you in 3 dimensions what that chord is going to look like. And again, this is just another font interface, but the keystrokes are the exact same. So again, capital A through G is the major chords A through G. Lowercase a through G are all of the minors. Very cool. And then of course we can go through as well all of the other ones, and it gives you the keystrokes right there. So there really are a lot of different options here for players of any ability or needing all of those other extra pointers. So let's say that again, that we are going to go back and we are going to make this chord chart. So I'm going to take my C and I'm going to copy right here. And now you might run into this because whatever is on this line is already saying that's supposed to be a regular font. This is really easy to change. All you need to do is highlight it and then go and just find your font. And again, of course, you're gonna have to make it a little bit bigger because, you know, size 11 is like this big. So we have Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Yeah. Ooh, that's not tuned at all. And of course our F. Little star. How I wonder what you are. Now we know, okay, so that's in the wrong font, but we can just go and change it. Now again, I'm working through this very quickly, so I would recommend going back and watching this over and following right along. What you are. So you can do something like that if you want all of the physical chord, the actual chord diagrams right here. One thing that I do with a lot of my chord charts, let's see, let's go to our resource portal. You'll see on the song sheets, so something like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. All right, that's a bad example because that's the whole tablature. One sec, let's go back to our something like 7 years. So one thing that I like to do is putting the chords, just the chords up here, and then just putting the chord letters here. And then I like to color code along with our color coded strings. We can use, I use green for A minor, blue for C because that's where our finger's going, and yellow for F because our first finger is going on the F. And we can play a modified F suspension just using that one finger instead of the 2-finger chord. We can use a modified F chord. So if you have a client or someone who really they only kind of can master one finger, that you can do your C, your A minor, and your F. And there's tons of songs that use just those 3 chords. So we have a lot of different options, which is really nice. All right, let me pause right there, just making sure to have any questions. Do we have any questions on just the Chordette before we move on to the tablature? All right, cool. So again, we're flying through this because I want to let you guys get back to your evenings. So our other app that we have is FretTab. And now this is to create tablature. So if you're not familiar with tablature, tablature is another way to basically write out, instead of writing out the notes, the actual notes on the music staff, you can write out tablature. So the 4 strings, the 4 lines on here are our 4 strings on our ukulele. And again, on a Mac, it's going to be color coded along with the color coded strings. But what I've found is that even if you're not playing on color coded strings, you're just playing on a regular ukulele, the color coded tablature really seems to help people, because regular tablature can get really confusing with all of the numbers jumping all around. And for some reason, the different colors really helps distinguish when you're switching strings and when to move strings. So even if you're not using the color-coded strings, the color-coded tablature really does help. So, you know, on our, you see our red, it is 0, just means it's open. So we have open, open. We go to our yellow string on the 3 means the 3rd fret. And then our blue string open. And our yellow 3, yellow 1, 1, yellow open, open, red 2, 2, and red open. And it goes from there. So it's one thing that I really like. Let's see. Yeah, the color-coded stickers are really awesome too. Oh, I'll have to find rainbow ukulele. I'll have to look for that. I've just been using my kind of I go in and raid the child life closet and just find different colored stickers and just throw them on the ukulele. But I'll have to look up the rainbow ukulele. That's really cool. All right, so with the tablature, again, same basic idea as the Chordette. There are, it's just keystrokes and it's just fonts. So it's going to go through first all of this on the first string, fret open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then it goes to the next string. And again, it gives you all of your keystrokes here. So if I just type, they all just come out and all different things happen. So we have all of our frets, on all of our strings. And then what's really nice is that we actually have measure, you know, beginning measure, end measure, double bar lines, repeat signs, bar lines in the middle, as well as just lines to separate them out. You can add in your pulls. So if you're creating tablature that there's a pull off, there's pull offs on string 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as hammer signs, as well as slides. So you can add all of those things in. So you can really create very complicated tablature using this program. So there's the individual notes, of course, and then there's actually the chords as tablature. So let's say that you have a kid who's really into tablature and really understands it very well, or you have something like, let me find the one song that I'm thinking of. The Moon Song is what I'm thinking of. Here it is. Let's say that you're creating tablature that has both individual notes, but also some chords in it. So you can, under the chords, you can actually put in the tabbed chords, if that makes sense. So we just copy, paste, make sure we're on the right one, and there's your chord right there. And I don't know if you can hear that rain, but it is raining cats and dogs here. You can see that for the A, our green 2, red 1, open, open, and there's our A. So lots of different options, kind of a choose your own adventure. And it gives the exact same chords tabbed as all of the chords in the Chordette. So all of the majors, all the minors, the sevenths, the minor sevenths, the major sevenths, the diminished, the augmented, and then all of those alternate fingerings. So this, one second, I'm gonna just let my dog in because now she's freaking out. Okay. Okay, I'll say hi. There, see, cute puppy. Thunder is scaring her. So all of the chords that from the standard chords here all line up with the standard chords here. The alternates line up with the alternates here, and all of the advanced chords line up with all of the advanced chords here. So they're all the same, they're just shown in different ways, whether it's the chord diagram or the tablature. So the other really cool thing, again, is that you can mix and match the different fonts. So we can create something that looks like this with the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So we have the text, the font right here, the lyrics. We have the actual tablature written out for the melody here. We have the chord diagrams here. So we can mix and match all of these fonts to create really, really comprehensive pieces of music for our patients and for our clients or for your students, whoever you're working with. And it can get very simple. So something as simple as row, row, row your boat. You know, very simple, very straightforward. And here's a good example that shows the mix of the chord diagrams, the tablature, and the fonts. But we can also get a bit more complicated too. So something like Hotel California. So this is the opening riff. So it can get much more complicated. So it can get a lot more complicated. You can also write out, you know, this is a Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter, as well as Star Wars. But again, you can also put in the repeat signs. So that's really nice as well. And it's one of those things that it takes a little while to kind of get used to and get comfortable with, but once you have it down, it goes pretty quickly. And I like to, when I'm creating these, I like to make it look like, you know, real music, you know, with the bar lines. And again, it's just the copy paste, making sure that you're on the right font, which I'm not right now, obviously. Let's see. And then put in some spaces. So all the spaces are right here. So you can just do a comma or a semicolon for a little bit bigger, or a parentheses for a little bit bigger. And then you can just type away, put in a bar line, type away. Let's say we want to put in, we're going to do a poll. And then we want to put in some font. But we need to put words in, and that's the wrong one. So again, just highlight. And then obviously you're going to want to make your font point a little bit smaller because you probably don't want it at 60. But of course you can line them up just like you would with music. Line them right up, right underneath, so that the kids can follow along. Let's see. Oh, yes, of course. So all of these PDFs that I'm pulling up are all on the resource portal. So that you can access all of these, you can access right from the website. So on the top, you can just go to the resource portal. I also put it in the chat. And these tabs over here is where you're going to find all of those. So if you go to general resources, there's and these are all PDFs too, so that you can download them, you can pull them up on your tablet, you can print them out, you can do whatever you like with them. There are all of the ukulele chords, chord chart on here. And this is one of my favorite documents in the world. I use it probably on a daily basis that I've created. And I've gone through and broken down songs into the chords that they use. And these are all, you know, popular songs that are on the radio. And again, broken down by the chords that they use. So this becomes really helpful when I have patients that, again, they can only use that one, they've only kind of gotten to that one finger, so they can only play the C, the F, and the A minor. So I use this, I use this box a lot. So all of these songs all use C, A minor, and F. So a lot of times if you ask somebody like, oh, what song do you want to learn? They're like, I don't know, or they have a difficult time. There you go, Christian. So they have a difficult time kind of finding or thinking of songs that they want to learn. So this is really great. So I'll pull this up and say, hey, take a look at this. And guess what? You can already play all of these songs. And any age, these kids know at least one of these. So the first page is all 2-chord songs. Next is 3-chord songs, of course. And then, of course, this is not an exhaustive list. These are songs that pop up a lot in my practice, so I just kind of add them. Let our friend in. Hi, Alan. Here's tons of songs with C, F, and G. Ooh, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that was a big thunderclap. And our 4-chord songs. And of course, our 1, 4, minor 6, and 5, there are, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs. These are just songs that, again, pop up in my practice. So I add them on as I discover them. So this document is like my holy grail when it comes to working with kids, teens, young adults. So please feel free to steal it because I've spent a lot of time on it and I would love for people to be able to use it. So please feel free to use it. And then, of course, all of the song sheets are right here under song sheets. You can search for them. And I'm uploading things on here all the time. Or if you've created documents that you think that you'd want to share, you can go to the Upload and Share tab, and you can upload and share. And again, these are all PDFs, so you can print them, download them, pull them up on tablets, phones, whatever. So there are 142 different songs on here right now. And then for tablature, so the tab is a mix of the straight tablature that we saw, like the Moon Song and like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, as well as songs that are chord charts, but then also have tablature in them. So like for All Star, this is like that little lick, that little lick in there. Brown Eyed Girl, same thing. Like the chords are on there, but also the bass, the dun 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 dun. So they're kind of fun because even if you have a patient who maybe isn't playing that part, they're just playing the chords. You can play that part as the teacher or therapist or whatever role you may be in. You can add in those little licks to kind of make it a little bit more interesting, which is fun. And that is the resource portal and the Chordette and the FretTab apps at light speed. So before I stop sharing my screen, is there anything else that you guys want to see on my screen? Lightning speed, I know. I'm trying to get through this, let you guys go back to your evenings. But again, that's why we're recording it. It's going to be emailed out so you can go back, pause, go through. Exactly, because of the lightning and the thunder. All right. So there is our fast and furious tutorial of Chordette and FretTab and the resource portal. What questions can I answer?
I just want to say thank you for sharing this resource, especially like all of the resources. So thank you so much for putting them out there to all of us.
It's my pleasure. And again, sorry, go ahead, Evelyn.
It's great job.
Oh, thank you. And again, the resource portal is completely open to anyone. The Chordette and the FretTab apps are completely open to anyone. Everything is open. So especially my like my teens and my young adults that I work with, toward the end of our session, if they're wanting to continue learning, continue playing, I'll show them the resource portal so they can go on and find those things. And everything that's on there are created by music therapists. So everything is simplified. It's very clear. It's bigger fonts. It's color coded when possible. Everything is created for the patients that we work with. So everything I try to make it as success oriented as possible. A lot of times when you go on to the web, go onto the internet and try to find chord charts, it can be really complicated. There's weird chords on there. So a lot of these songs are adapted to make them easier, but to also make them, but they still sound like you're playing the actual song, which is nice.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else before I let you guys go?
Good. Thank you.
Great, wonderful. You are most welcome. Again, thank you for joining me tonight. I hope that this helped, and I hope you'll be able to utilize it in your practice in whatever aspect that you are working in, or just for your own playing and for your own creating your own uke resources. Again, this will be emailed out to you so that you can go back and watch it and re-download and work through all these things. If you have any questions or anything comes up, please feel free to email me at any time at stephanie@theukc.org. Oops, not org, at the ukc.org. There we go. You can email me at any time. I am more than happy to troubleshoot and to help you in any way that I can.
Okay.
All right. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thanks so much. Great seeing you.
Good
We'll
to
be
see
in
you
touch.
too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
La 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 la.